Holy smokes, what just happened? James Gunn, Peter Safran, the heads of DC Studios just dropped a massive bombshell on the comic and movie fans everywhere. Tons and tons to discuss. Hopefully, this doesn't mean the implosion of the DCU. Let's unpack this. Let's go. What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today we're about to look at and discuss some of the massive news drops from James Gunn the other day from this big press release thing. He just absolutely shook up the entirety of the DCU, the upcoming cinematic movie universe that James Gunn and Peter Safran have been tasked with rolling out, crafting, creating. They are the heads of DC Studios, and man, everything just changed. The other day, there's this press release where they didn't just speak on the projects that were already announced. Famously now, when James Gunn, over almost 2 years ago at this point, did the whole rollout announcing the projects they'll be working on and everything. And well, we've seen Creature Commandos animated show take off at HBO Max, the streaming platform, and we're all waiting patiently, and some of us impatiently, for Superman to take flight this July. But we don't have to wait for that to see what they have planned next. He dropped a massive bombshell, and this is now the projected slate for the DCU. On this list of stuff, you'll see a lot of familiar things and some new things, specifically the inclusion of what's going on with DC animated properties moving forward. They announced a My Adventures with Green Lantern animated show, a Starfire cartoon show, and more. This is getting absolutely wild. Now, the My Adventures with Green Lantern show is supposed to take place inside the same universe as the Superman anime show that's done really, really well. There's already multiple seasons of it, some comic book spinoffs. So now they're expanding it to Green Lantern. I guess they're banking on the HBO Lanterns TV show being a hit and wanting something for possibly all audiences from there. And then they announced Starfire, which we really don't know much about other than it's animated, as well as there's a post on X from somebody working with the show. We'll get to that shortly, but it looks like, in my opinion, from the style design of the header, the trade dress, it looks like something that could be aimed for younger audiences as well. Now, another one that was announced was Superpowers. That's right, the old toy line that McFarlane has the rights for and does the toys now. There'll be an animated Superpower show with John Jones, Martian Manhunter, that being the principal of a school. So it looks like they're aiming stuff for all ages at this point, but that wasn't all that they talked about. They did touch on some of the things that a lot of us have been wondering about. We've got news on Superman, waiting for it. We know the Lanterns just finished its first week of filming in, I believe, in Los Angeles, and it's getting all kinds of crazy feedback from the cast and crew that have worked on it, with a little bit that they can talk about. And now that we've done our first week of filming, they've been reporting that it's very sci-fi, very odd, very different from what we'll be seeing in Superman, which I'm actually really excited about. I think, especially with this many projects and moving at this pace, for anything to work, it really has to stand on its own. It really has to feel like its own property. It can't feel like a carbon copy of what we've just seen. You can't hit that copy and paste button. You don't need everything to have the same jokes in it or the same overbearingly serious epic tone to it. Not every one of these characters have the same backstory, come from the same place, or deal with the same problem. So they have to have a unique tone to themselves. So I'm excited more than anything about this Lanterns HBO show that's being talked about, as it's wild and sci-fi and mature. I'm very excited for that. So I think it might be a good move to expand that possibly with the Lanterns, because there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of fans that are going to be missing those darker, heavier, more adult tones from the Snyder era of things. So we might lean in more toward enjoying that aspect. And it's kind of good that we'll be getting kind of a little bit of everything in that sense. Now, we do know we have Peacemaker coming in August. The Waller show is supposed to be still moving forward, but it's hitting some delays. As is Sergeant Rock, we lost the front runner for that in Daniel Craig, but there's moving forward. They have the director attached to that now. That's another one that I think is just wildly random to be getting a World War II non-superhero. I think that's a wild move, but it could work out really well. No updates on Swamp Thing. We still have James Mangold attached to that. As of now, Batman Part 2, the long-awaited for Matt Reeves sequel to the Batman, doesn't have a completed script turned in yet, but it looks like a lot of progress is happening with that. Now, Paradise Lost, that's one that we were announced at the very beginning of all this. We don't have anything, any news, any idea when Wonder Woman, Diana Proper, is going to be entering the DCU. We have Superman. We know Batman with Brave and the Bold is in some form of production. They're not necessarily working on it yet, but they're working on getting it ready kind of thing. It's the whole Matt Reeves Batman, DCU Batman. It's having some dilemmas. Like I guess they're trying to figure out where to get that to fit in. But we saw Batman make that little silhouetted cameo in Creature Commandos all the same. But Paradise Lost got a very hopeful update. James Gunn stated that Paradise Lost is an essential part of the universe, and we're working hard on it. The project is moving forward, and the pilot script is currently being written. Now, that's very promising. From what I understand, from what he said when he spoke about it to begin with, there'll be an HBO series. It'll go back before Diana and deal with the Amazon. So maybe we'll get to see the birth or formation or creation of Diana in that series, and that way we'll know where to expect her moving forward. But the Authority, on the other hand, that one's been put on the back burner, was announced this week. Deathstroke and Bane, who knows what they're doing with that? That's kind of one of those ones that I've been scratching my head. Like, why would you do like a buddy cop villain project with Bane and Deathstroke together? Both cool characters, especially Deathstroke, but I don't understand the thought process behind rolling out this universe. I know people are familiar with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, so it kind of gives you some leeway to lean into some other stuff. But we got some promising news that's leaking out, or rumor mill, that where Deathstroke could potentially be making his first DCU appearance in the Waller TV show that would ultimately, or should at least, come out a long time before that Bane Deathstroke. So the rollout of these characters in each other's projects are now more of a possibility than ever. And that made me think back to Batman. We have this Clayface movie, a standalone Clayface movie, supposed to be a very like manageable budget horror aspect thing. And there's now rumors and talks about possibly slow rolling out Batman through appearances in other properties before getting to Batman Brave and the Bold, where we'll be getting Batman and a Damian Wayne Robin, which means Dick Grayson has to already be an adult. And that's where it ties back to Starfire. Starfire is getting a show to introduce us to her. They confirmed this week that a Teen Titans film is in the works. And with Teen Titans, you get a grown-up Dick Grayson Robin. So we're kind of starting to see the pieces and possibly a vision of this whole thing coming together. Now, this is what we got from our Starfire announcement here. Josie Campbell posted that she's working on a project for Starfire. Get ready for action, comedy, wonder, and a brilliant Tamarian princess exploring the wildest and weirdest reaches of the DCU. No idea. Tonally wise, no idea. I still think it's going to be geared for a younger audience, where Creature Commandos definitely is R-rated. I think they're going for more of the all audiences with My Adventures with Green Lantern and Superman, and maybe a younger audience with this and Superpowers, which makes perfectly good sense. Now, this is where everything gets really, really dicey, in my opinion. Now, that's a lot of projects. We've seen other things like this with the MCU, with the Star Wars universe, the stuff that Disney puts out, where they announce these huge slates, get fans hyped up, get them ready, and then a lot of projects get axed, canceled, delayed, and things get really bad. So are we going to see all these projects come out? Are they getting ahead of themselves? Are we putting the cart before the horse? It was stated that the plan is to release 2 animated shows per year, 2 live action shows per year, 2 live action films, and 1 animated film. That's where I think this whole thing is about to get super dicey. That pace, that rate is insane, in my opinion. 7 projects a year, while we're in an era where people are talking superhero fatigue. Ultimately, quality over anything matters the most. You can put out as much as you want. As long as the quality is great, people will enjoy it. But the problem is they're going to see it at different rates, at different speeds. There's no time to enjoy these things when they're coming out this fast. There's no time to sit in the fandom, to discuss them, to speculate on what could come next, to have these little pockets of a community that want to just get around and just lay out their fandom and talk about them and just get excited and anticipate the next one, because it'll already be on you. 7 properties a year releasing is wild. Now, I know everything isn't going to be for everyone, nor is it intended to be. But when it comes to stuff like DC or Marvel or Star Wars or Star Trek or Lord of the Rings, these properties that have these massive fandoms that have been around for decades, fans want to see all of it. They want every bit of lore that you have. Even for these diehard Wednesday warriors like myself that go to the comic shop every week, pick up new comics. I don't get them all, but I definitely keep up with everything. I get a massive amount of DC books every week because I want to know what's going on in every corner of this connected universe, and I want every plot point that I could possibly get. For the titles that I don't pick up, I keep up with them through other people or reading the solicitations. I don't miss out on what's happening, and if something pops off, I'm there to get it and get in on it. And it's going to be the same way with these. If this Starfire, if this Superpowers is in the same connected universe as James Mangold's Swamp Thing, we still want to have some details of what happened. And doing it at this rate really makes me nervous because much like with like some of the reviews for Captain America 4, where people were wondering, when did Sam get the shield? Or I know when he got the shield, but when did he become Captain America? What's going on with all these Gamma characters because they don't remember or didn't see or weren't participating in this massive connected universe 13 years ago. So it can get real dicey. This seems like overkill to me. And not that I wouldn't enjoy this or keep up with this on a level and all that stuff, but for the general audience, they're going to miss a lot of this. And when they start missing a lot of this, if these projects get too interconnected, they can be lost again. So that's where like there's going to be this magic balance that's going to have to take place with this that we haven't seen in Star Wars or Marvel before, which is the best way to compare it to anything. Those are the only other two like real big connected universes that we have in a film level, because these ultimately are not comics. They don't have the same luxuries that comics have where you can rewrite something real easily. Someone can miss an issue or just you can just write over it really fast. These are big projects. It costs a lot of money and take time to release. So seems real risky. Seems super risky. So leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you think these are actually going to drop 7 projects a year? And how many of these do you think will actually come to be? I think they got a good shot at it. But I'm interested to find out. I appreciate everybody coming and watching the video. Be sure to check the link below. There's some fantastic resources for the hobby down below, like Big Time Collectibles, JustinComicx Cleaning and Pressing, ABX Comics and Games. If you want to set up a pool list and get new comics yourself, they got you covered. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to help out the channel even more, be sure to hit that join button and check out becoming a channel member. Head up the merch store. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.